Vaalmeeki Raamaayana. Yes, of all the 14 volumes of this book. I am happy to let you know at the very beginning that Motilal Banarsidass have assured me that the second volume, Ayodhya Kaanda, may be out by November, December this year. They want to plan it as a New Year gift to Swaminathan ji. So we are releasing Baala Kaanda today, and we will be able to really, see on the bookshelves in November, December, the Ayodhya Kaanda. It is then my pleasant duty to do the introductions. Let me begin by introducing the author. As you can see him on the screen, the invitation carried his recent photo that is very similar here. Some of us have sunken cheeks and bones visible, but he still has chubby cheeks and plenty of hair, full of energy, 98 years young. And Dr. Singh has promised, if God willing, Bhagavad Kripa, to celebrate his 100th birthday in the next 2 years' time. Swaminathan ji hails from Tamil Nadu, one of the two very famous districts of Tamil Nadu, Tirunelveli, the other being Tanjavur. And he is the son of a very illustrious Lokanathan, who was with the Planning Commission, serving in the Planning Commission. Swaminathan studied at the Presidency College, Chennai. He was involved in the freedom movement and got into some trouble with his English teachers and principal. As a young man, he also got involved a little bit with the RSS at that time. He earned an engineering degree from Allahabad University. Very interesting for those days to go from Chennai to North India, and that has given him fluency in Hindi. He qualified as an engineer. There's no inkling that he would in his life become a Ramayana scholar. He became an entrepreneur, and that entrepreneurial venture didn't go very well. It's all right, it's part of the learning in life. And he then started studying Vaalmeeki Ramayana. This also came about out of some question that he asked the Mahaswami some kind of a doubt. So the Swamiji and some of the early volumes were published with the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. Swaminathan has been inspired by his great-grandfather, who worked for British government, but took early retirement in his 40s, became a sannyasi, gave his property to all his heirs, and himself worked as a sannyasi scholar. And he wrote that book, Pranav, and it is on that model that Swaminathan took up this great task that he has done. I have a personal connection with Swaminathan ji. He was a student of my father in the PS High School, Chennai. My father's name was T.A. Balasundaram. He was affectionately called TAB, T-A-B, by all his students, alumni. I met many of them around the world, doing very well. He taught English and history, but even more important, he was a cricket coach and great enthusiast of sports among students.
Mrityunjay.
So he has showered affection on all of us, myself, my brothers and sisters. We are like his younger siblings. He was very keen that the first volume should be released by Dr. Karan Singh, and this dream has come true. He has been dealing with Motilal Banarsidass for the last 3-4 years, and then he gave me the responsibility to follow up, and now with the help of the publishers, Mr. Rajiv Jain and Pranav Jain, we are seeing the reality of this volume being formally released by Dr. Karan Singh today. Let me then introduce Motilal Banarsidass. I'll come to Dr. Karan Singh last, but not least, and so that he can immediately deliver his address as chief guest as well. Motilal Banarsidass is very well known to people all over India, all students of Sanskrit. They were set up in 1903. They are 119 years old now, and the range of publications is staggering. Leading publisher in Sanskrit and Indology, distribute serials, monographs, scholarly publications on Asian religions and philosophy, history, culture, arts, architecture, archaeology, language, literature, linguistics, musicology, mysticism, yoga, tantra, occult, medicine, astronomy, astrology, and other related subjects, many of which had been neglected for a long time. The Ayush Ministry has revived many of them now, and there is a new interest in going back to our roots and recovering the great virasat that we have. And they have published over 25,000 works. What a massive achievement. Mr. Rajiv Jain's father, Pranav's grandfather, was awarded by the government of India the Padma Shri in 1992. I think it would be very fitting and fair that Rajiv ji, in his lifetime, and the firm are given a Padma Bhushan, long overdue. Now, Pranav Jain will give the links to Amazon for those who want to buy the book in India in rupees, and also a link on his website for those abroad who cannot access the Amazon India rupee edition, but can buy it in dollar price worldwide, anywhere. And this will go to the Congress of Libraries, many libraries around the world and in India. Hello there, Pranav. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Karan Singh, it would be no exaggeration to say that very often we hear the phrase, he needs no introduction. He needs absolutely no introduction. But I think it is a great Indian Hindu tradition that we recall some of the significant achievements of great people and take joy in them, take inspiration from them. It may be said of him that he is a scholar among princes and a prince among scholars. Both are very true without an exaggeration. Born as a prince, but chose to go through formal education instead of the governess at home, privately educated. So went to school in Lahore, college and university in Delhi, got his PhD in philosophy as any normal student, special interest in Shri Aurobindo's philosophy. He also renounced his royal title of Sadri Riyasat and engaged in a political career as a citizen of India, a very distinguished citizen of India. He became Union Minister for Health and Family Planning, 1973 to 77. He was earlier Minister for Civil Aviation from 67 to 73. It was my saubhagyam to meet him at that time. I was a faculty member at IIM Calcutta. Dr. Karan Singh set up a committee to advise government on the management of Indian Airlines. And at that time, it was a small airline. It was itself a merger of 8 private airlines in the country. And those of you who have organizational experience would know the variety of leadership styles, cultures, systems, processes, prejudices that people will have. So I was a member, Vijay Kelkar was a member, Mr. N.P. Sen of ITC was the chairman, and Dr. Karan Singh gave us complete freedom to recommend whatever is required to make the airline a viable one and set it for growth in the future. My role was as a course director of the Advanced Management Program of the All India Management Association in Srinagar, gave me further opportunities to Dr. Karan Singh. I was the course director in 68 to 71. The beautiful premises and lawns of the Oberoi Palace Hotel overlooking the Dal Lake. And in almost all of them, he was a distinguished evening speaker, interacting with the participants. They were one of the highlights of the program. He also spent the summer on the same broad campus in Karan Mahal, and I have had the privilege of having tea with him there. In 72, I was going to the UK on a sabbatical. He mentioned that it is not a time to be away from India. I fully agreed, and I came back from the UK, and I have been engaged in this management journey for the last 40 years. He was ambassador to the USA in 1989-90, Lok Sabha member or Rajya Sabha member, a valuable elder statesman, Padma Vibhushan of the Government of India. It will be accurate, as many people have said. He is the best president we did not have. He is a Bhishma Pitamaha of Indian philosophy. A Bharat Ratna to him, very popular with the Indian people. I now invite Dr. Karan Singh to please formally release the book by holding it up before the audience and then deliver his address as chief guest.
My father-in-law, Dr. Mr. Swaminathan, wants to say a word to Dr. Karan Singh, please.
Okay. Yes.
He is born prince, but a prince of men, my friend Dr. Karan Singh. He is a very, what is it how can I describe him? Our holy texts have been gone through thoroughly by him. He is not just a prince, born prince alone. He is a prince of men. No doubt about that.
Very good. I'm delighted, Swaminathan, that you are participating in the function and you are alert and active. To Dr. Singh.
Lokanathan, Swaminathan, Vanakkam. Congratulations. And God willing, 2024, we will all assemble at your residence in Chennai. Happy century. Let me start by prayer to Sri Rama. I'm a Raghuvansha. Neelambudha Shamala Komalanam, Sita Samarobita Vama Bhanam, Pano Mahasayaka Charucharam, Namami Ramam Raghuvansha. And of course, we can never forget Hanuman, without whom Rama would not have won that war. Manojavam Maru Tullivegam, Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam, Akmadam Vanaviyutam, Sri Ramadutam Charan. Swaminathan, my old friend Dr. Athreya, who we used to meet very frequently several decades ago, Pranav Jain from Motilal, Banarsidass, and all of you who are listening in to this program, my very warm greeting. Let me start by saying that we owe deep debt of gratitude to Maharishi Vaalmeeki. Because if he had not written the Ramayana, the original Ramayana, he was a contemporary of Sri Rama, we would never have had that great story, which today has gone around the world. Literally, there are hundreds of different Ramayanas now in our neighboring countries, even within India, in different languages. We have Karan, we have Tulsidas, we have so many different languages in India. So the Ramayana has become a major text for literature, for dance, because many of the dances, for example, in Bali, they dance some scenes from the Ramayana. And the interesting thing is that the whole writing of this started from Karuna, because he was sitting there and a hunter killed one of a pair of crouches. They were birds, and the other crouch fell with him and died. He said, Ma Nishada Pratishthana Agama Shashwati Samaha Yat Crouch Mithunat Ekam Avati Kamam. That you will never achieve any aim because you have shot one of the pair of crouches, and when they were making love. They were not just sitting there, they were actually involved in an affectionate relationship. And this cruel hunter killed one of them. When he burst out with this, he realized that he had created a new chanda. The way the verse goes was a new chanda. And it was in this chanda that he then wrote the entire Ramayana. Remarkable thing. That one outburst of his heart was with Karuna, towards the bird that had been died, he came out with chanda. Therefore, the whole of the Ramayana. Now, the fact that Dr. Swaminathan has translated the entire Ramayana, 14 volumes, is something that absolutely astounds me. Each Kand is difficult enough as it is, but to have been able to translate all of them is remarkable. And Motilal Banarsidass perhaps is the only publishing house which can really do justice. As Dr. Athreya said, they have a long tradition, over a century tradition of publishing Indian culture and philosophy. Now, we owe another debt to Maharishi Vaalmeeki, Adi Kavi Vaalmeeki. When Sita was so cruelly, I must use that word, as it were, sent into the jungle when she was pregnant, had it not been for Vaalmeeki's ashram quite close by, she would have perished. She would have perished to wild animals, or anything could have happened to her. Yet she found her way soon into the Vaalmeeki ashram, and there she received protection. It was there that Lava and Kusha were born, and it was there many years later that there was the final confrontation, if you like, between the boys and the father, and when Sita once again, when she was questioned, earth opened, back came from the earth, found by Janaka in the earth, back into the earth. So, but if you go to Thailand, if you go to Sri Lanka, you go to Cambodia, Indonesia, Nepal, there are hundreds of versions of the story is fascinating. Let me say, Dr. Athreya, only happy Kanda is the Baala. This is the happy Kanda, in the sense that this is all the happiness is there, the birth of Rama, how they grew up, and how they went, and then his meeting with Sita, and how they were married, and he was also very unjustly punished. There's just from Ayodhya Kand onwards, the disaster, death, sending them into exile and so on. So, quite frankly, my favorite is the Baala Kaanda. The same way as with Krishna, I really like the Vrindavan Krishna. I do not improve with that without me. I have serious concerns with the Mahabharata Krishna. My name, of course, is Karan, I remember that. I'm not necessarily on the side of the Padma. So, here again, it is the Baala Kaanda that really so beautiful, no description. See, Vaalmeeki didn't only tell the story, he described the whole of the Tamil land at that time, orchards, rivers, forests, forest dwellers and all. It's an extraordinary encyclopedia of knowledge regarding the area and inhabitants. One point I would like to make that perhaps some of the North Indian writers, they called that there were two main tribes at that time in South. Two main, the Rakshasas lived in Sri Lanka and the Vanaras lived in South. They were constantly fighting with each other. Now, he called them Vanaras, and therefore it will be translated as if they were monkeys. They were not monkeys, for God's sake. They built great cities. How can monkeys build a great city? Devatam Varishtam. Hanuman was wise and very powerful. So to call them Vanaras and to make plays and dramas, giving them tales and all, I think that is totally wrong. My view is that they may have been indigenous tribe there. Maybe their features were a little different from the North India. Maybe they wore some kind of a dhoti or something with a cross behind. As a result of that, they were being called Vanaras. And we have taken that literally. I would like to put on record my view, maybe a minority view, my view that they were not Vanara, they were a highly advanced Aboriginal Adivasi tribe. Because they built bridges, they built palaces. Once we realize that, then we realize that what Sri Rama was able to do, to mobilize the Vanaras against the Rakshas. Sri Rama, nobody came from Ayodhya to help him. Not a soul came from Ayodhya. All his help was from the local people, from the local tribals, who were constantly at war with the Rakshas. So I think what happened was, he was able to mobilize. He had such powers of leadership. Athreya talked about leadership. He had such powers of leadership that this unknown person from Ayodhya comes down south and is able to mobilize the entire tribal community in the war. That, once you understand that, then you realize how they built the bridge, how did they go across, how many Pandavas gave up their lives. Heavy casualties on both sides. The Rakshasas were a tribe also. I mean, the word has got a negative connotation now. But that doesn't mean they were evil people. I mean, Ravana was the greatest Shiva Bhakta there has ever been. Ravana's Tandav Stotra is the most powerful stotra written to Shiva in any language, including Adi Shankaracharya. Nobody has been able to write a stotra like Ravan and Shiva, a great Shiva, the greatest. It is true that I have my own things on this. Why two women created a lot of problems. Pansana in Ayodhya and Swarupnaka. Swarupnaka went there and said that she wanted to marry one of them. Now, she was a princess of Sri Lanka. She wasn't just some kind of ordinary woman here. She was a princess of Sri Lanka. And she should not have been treated that way. I'm sorry. I'm being critical even of but that's the way I'm a free thinker. I'm critical of Sri Krishna sometimes. Sometimes I'm even critical of Sri Rama. And I don't think that they should have cut off her ears. Why should they? He could have said, I don't want to marry you. Why did they have to give face? That really began the trouble. If they had not done that, Ravana would never have known about Sita. There would have been no war. Between Mansara, who sent them into exile, and Swarupnaka, whose ill treatment caused the war, we have this terrible war. And wars are never good. You may say it's a great war, it's a terrible war. I don't agree. Wars are always disaster. Mahabharata was the biggest disaster that happened to India. Because the whole flower of India, the Kshatriyas were destroyed. That's what Thakurji wanted to do all this. His own race was also destroyed because of Gandhari Shraap. So here again, look at the casualties that must have taken place. Nobody remembers the Vanaras who gave up their lives in that battle. In any case, the battle is there, the story is there for everybody, and it has a lot of very fascinating stories, relationship between Rama and Pranav, his brother, and between Rama and Hanuman. And they were the greatest friends. After he bought Sanjeevani and gave it to Lakshmana. Raghupati ki ni bahut badhai, tumam hum priya bharat samabhai. That he was greatly praised by Rama. And you are dear to me, not like Lakshmana, but like Bharata. That's the only time I think when he remembered Bharata at that time. Tumam hum priya bharata samabhai. So love it to me like my brother Bharata. Remember sitting, waiting for Sri Rama. So there's lots and lots of life stories to be told in this, and fascinating read. Swaminathan ji has taken great pains. I mean, one volume is so much. God knows, 14 volumes will be something, huge. Banarsidass publisher bring them out, that will be a great gift. So I will not take up more of your time. I pay my homage to Sri Rama and to Hanuman. He looked upon as an amsha of Shiva. In the north, at least, we believe that Hanuman was an amsha, fraction, one-tenth of Shiva. One of the 11 Shiva lingas, one of them. So without his help, there was no question of Rama being able to. He wouldn't have known, first of all, where Sita was. And every step, it is only Hanuman who guides him, helps him, and saves him. He Rama took him down. He again went. He was the one. So my homage to this great figure and my warm congratulations to Swaminathan for what he has done. I said I wish him more success. God willing, assembled in a couple of years. Very happy for him. Keep well, Swaminathan. I'm so glad to see. Originally, Dr. Athreya said to me that he won't be able to come. So I was disappointed. I've seen you there. I'm very happy to meet you. And Dr. Athreya, thank you very much for organizing this function. And all the viewers, a warm greeting to you. And to you, Pranav. You've done a good job in the congratulations.
May I request you, Dr. Singh, to formally put aside one copy for Mr. K. Parasaram, the chair of the Ayodhya Ram Mandir Trust, and I will have it delivered to him.
So, Pranav, you've got to give me another copy. I've got only one copy.
Yeah, no.
He'll give me another copy. I have high regard for Mr. Parasaram.
Thank you very much. Kavita, are you there in the audience?
Sir, Dr. Basu Gosdas from Ishkon Temple and other Swamijis has also joined, just for the information.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yes. Rajesh, has Kavita joined?
Yes, she's also there. Yes.
Yeah.
So, may I now invite Kavita Athreya to give, as a reader of the book, a reader's response. Kavita, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Athreya. It is my Parama Saubhagyam to have this opportunity today to give the reader's response on this book, which is also being released today. I'm grateful to Motilal Banarsidass for sending me a copy in advance, and I have received it in time, and I have it with me, so I was able to give a brief read on it. And I also have, thank everyone for this opportunity to give a response as a reader. From this book, we can learn, first thing is we can learn from the Guru Bhakti of Swaminathan ji. In the beginning, that he begins the book with the benediction to our Sringeri Acharyas, Maharishi Vaalmeeki, and Skanda, the Deva Senapati. So that itself is a very good beginning for the book. Then it also attests to the quality of Shri Swaminathan ji, his work that respected Dr. Karan Singh has graced it with his foreword. And it captures the enduring popularity of Ramayana for ages to come. Dr. Karan Singh has also in his foreword very rightly mentioned that so long as this Ramayana will be one of always remembered by human race. And he also reminds us of Adi Shankara's comment as not just as a story, but a deep allegory of the human self in Ram Avatar, crossing the forest of Moha, overcoming Raga and Dvesha, and being united with Shanti in the person of Sita Ma. Dr. Karan Singh also explained some of these in his speech right now. I am sure we will all endorse wholeheartedly Dr. Singh's Prarthana to Shri Rama that all the volumes of this book be published in Swaminathan ji's lifetime. Many of us have grown up reading lectures of Right Honorable V.S. Srinivasa Shastri on Vaalmeeki Ramayana. He considers Ramayana one of the greatest human epics. I am also proud to share that my mother-in-law, Srimati Geeta Athreya, is a descendant of the great Shastri ji. And those of us with a Tamil background would also have read Rajaji's, retelling of this epic for the youth. Shri Swaminathan ji's Baala Kaanda is a thick Baala Kaanda is a thick volume with about 77 chapters and 542 pages. So I think that for those with even a basic knowledge of Sanskrit, it is an absorbing read. The format of each shloka, immediately followed by its simple English translation, makes it easier to understand and proceed faster while reading. As many may know, the very first chapter of 100 verses is like a preface of the full Ramayana. In response to Kavi Vaalmeeki's queries, Narada Muni gives a fast-moving, crisp summary of the story of Ramayana. So this is a great technique, and having got the total picture at the very start, the detailed pieces fall into place further in the book for the reader. So the reader also has a most satisfying journey of discoveries. I pray that this first and the later volumes be widely read in India and the world now and for all forever. That is our future.
Thank you very much, Kavita. That's very well said. Right. Good that you could very quickly browse through the book, which you got only now, and you emphasize some very key points. Thank you very much. Dr. Karan Singh, if there is, would you be willing to take one or two questions from the audience?
I'm not really an expert on the Ramayana.
All right. Okay.
Swaminathan wants to say something.
I'm on Upanishad. I have not come to the epics at all yet. I have not come below the Sutta.
Okay. Okay. All right. You are strongly on Upanishad's philosophy. Yeah. All right. So, Pranav, may I now invite you to give the vote of thanks?
Sir, in between, Swaminathan ji wanted to speak something. In between, he was telling he wanted to speak something.
Oh, Rajesh?
Dr. Swaminathan.
Ah.
Mr. Swaminathan wants to talk something.
Yes, please. Yeah. Please go ahead. Yeah.
I would like to say a few words. I won't be taking much time. A few thoughts come to me just now. When I started Ramayana work, Singh Acharya told me, Swaminathan, na anrutamatra bhavishyati kavye. There is no wrong usage by Vaalmeeki. You study Vaalmeeki not as a storybook, but as a Veda. That inspired me to do Vaalmeeki Ramayana. I have been traveling in the land of Vaalmeeki Ramayana for 20 years now. By profession, I am not at all a scholar or even given to scholarship. I am a chemical engineer by profession. The point is, my son-in-law is with me now, my daughter is not here. They want me to write now so that Ramayana can be popularized amongst the children first, so that they can later on go and study the original work of Vaalmeeki Ramayana. For that, I have already written a book just now. I finished a book of 300 pages, as though Rama writes his own biography, Rama's Atmakatha. Then I have not published it yet. Now I am starting on behalf of my daughter and my son-in-law a book for children, so that I will tell the stories first. I will then interest them in the study of Ramayana. Later on, they can get into the bulk of Ramayana and enjoy the fruits of Vaalmeeki Ramayana. That is all I wish to say.
He also wants me to ask Dr. Karan Singh,
Yeah.
when is he coming to Chennai? And I told him, when is he coming to Chennai? And he would like to see him. I said he's coming in 2024 for your 100th birthday, but he expects Dr. Karan Singh to come earlier.
If I come earlier, I'll certainly meet you.
One more point. I am addressing to my Mitra, Dr. Karan Singh. When are you coming to Madras? When are you going to your Pondicherry, where you have got a beautiful temple? People do not know this. The service Dr. Karan Singh is doing for temples in India. He has his favorite temple. Imagine a man from Kallana region in Kashmir coming to Pondicherry, a man from Kerala, Adi Shankara, going to Srinagar. I mean, I see no change in India at all. 750 AD, it was Adi Shankara who walked all the way to Kashmir. And this man, of course, he travels not by, he travels by, I suppose, by Air India. He comes all the way. And then he gave wonderful, we had a wonderful get together in our house in Chennai. I am inviting him. I want to know when. My Mohan and Rita would be delighted to have him here.
Thank you so much.
Let me know when he is coming.
Thank you very much. I've lost my good friend, Ramakrishna. Remember C. Ramakrishna, the Sunampet and Lavina. He was a dear friend. My good friend. I lost him in COVID. But doesn't matter, I will come back.
All right. Yes, I'm so glad that Swaminathan could join us and speak quite fluently and make a lot of important points. So now I invite Pranav Jain to give the vote of thanks.
Very good evening to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Athreya, for organizing such a lovely virtual book launch. I thank all the participants and the visitors who joined us today and to make this book launch such a big success. I was very happy to know that we were the lucky publishers who were chosen by Swaminathan ji to publish his work on Vaalmeeki Raamaayana, which is going to be in 14 volumes. And we are working on the next volume, which is the Ayodhya Kaanda. And Swaminathan ji will be very happy to know that we are planning to launch the next volume by the end of this year. And my special thanks to our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Karan Singh ji, for releasing Baala Kaanda. Thank you again for such a great opportunity for our publishing house. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Any remaining comments, questions? Thank you very much, Dr. Singh again. Namaskar.
Sir, if any participants have any comments, then.
Well, one comment is Dr. Karan Singh talked about the respect given to tribals, that Vanars really were one nurse. So that's a very relevant point, sir.
Right. One another. Correct.
One nurse. But there were tribal belts who speak Balti, Shina, and even Ladakhis who suffered centuries of languish under various regimes.
But therefore, to call them monkeys is entirely wrong. Fortunately, that is what happens all the time. Whenever we have Ram Leela, the monkey come with it. I am afraid that irritates me. Nothing can be done. In the south, how do you present the farmer? Present them as monkeys or as human? Answer that is no. No, Dr. Athreya.
Yes.
In South India, you also present the Vanarasi as monkeys, you present them as tribes.
Yes, I think your explanation that they were tribal people would go very well in South India. Some groups in Tamil Nadu, as you know, political groups resent Ramayana portraying people there as monkeys. They take it literally. That's a misunderstanding. Yeah. So I think your explanation should be widely shared. All right. So I think, may I bring it to a close? Thanking all here, and we are getting messages from the audience. Are there any questions in the chat box, Rajesh?
No, there is no questions.
Only appreciation, comments.
Appreciations
Okay.
only, yes.
All right.
You can say thank you. No, you say finally thank you. Closing. You can say thank you now.
Shri Ganesh, yes.
I don't want to speak again.
No.
Yeah, I request for a recording of the event because I had missed out logging in at the start.
We have done already, yes.
Yes, it is recorded. It will be put on the YouTube and Rajesh will send you the link.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Right, certainly, yeah. Oh. Right, Rajesh, would you finished? Okay. Dr. Singh, you have your secretary with you for the leave button. You can press.
And I can end it from here itself, but if the program is over, then I can end the program by clicking here. Being the host, I can end for everybody. Before that, if there is any other comments or any other from the
I think you can close now.
from the
Thank
audience.
you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes, I can close now. Yeah.
had a curiosity uh, to the esteemed speaker, the author. Are there any management lessons in this book?
That will require a separate program.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
A separate program.
And that's something, Radhaji, you should do as a teacher of management. You should look at the volume and bring out the lessons.
Yes, sir. I've been researching in this field, and that's why I was curious about it. I'll definitely look at the book. I'll go through it, and I'm sure I'll be able
on the
to
topic you have raised, I did give a talk once in the India International Center Auditorium on management lessons from the Bhagavad Gita. Dr. Singh was chairing that meeting, and it went out very well. He added his comments at the end of my talk, lots of shlokas, and the hall was full. Questions from the audience. Yeah, so we have done this kind of linking contemporary management issues and about leadership style, organization culture, Shrestha Dharma, the Praman, the Sayad Pramanam Kurte, Lokos Tadanuvartate. So the Acharan Yadi Acharati Shrestha. So many of these lessons are relevant to today's corporate and other organizational leaders.
So is there any recording of this
You may
meeting you mentioned about?
You may check with Dr. Rekha Sethi, DG of IMA. They may have it in their library.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Congratulations once again.
Right. Thank you. Yeah.
And great meeting Dr. Karan Singh and hearing him.
Madam, the talk was in 1992, so at that time there wasn't this sort of technology. So you may or may not find a recording.
You remember very well, Rishi, the year. I had forgotten. Yeah, okay. You were in the audience.
Yes, that's.
Pranam, sir. Pranam.
Yeah, Mukesh, thank you for joining us. And you please share some of this in your ISTD conferences.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Excuse me. In the name of my Lord Shri Rama, the near perfect human being, as Dr. Singh would tell me, only near perfect human being, I bless you all. I bless you all for a happy, contented life. Happy, contented life. In the name of my Lord, in the name of my Guruji, Shakracharya, I bless you all. What a wonderful opportunity for me to share with you all, along with my family, Mohan and Rita. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your blessing.